안녕하세요. 1차 뉴욕타임즈를 좀 주사만 읽겠습니다. How a low-key AI release kicked off a stampede after mess of ChatGPT 12 months that drastically changed Silicon Valley. Worries about safety and whether machines would turn on their creators were not ignored, but they were shunted aside. At 1 p.m. on a Friday, shortly before Christmas last year, Kent Walker, Google's top lawyer, summoned 4 of his employees and ruined the weekend. Clearing a way for the whales, scientists use climate data to predict their movements and avoid entanglement. One of the biggest problems we have is the unpredictability. We are living from week to the week. Magical solutions won't fix the climate crisis. In Dubai, United Arab Emirates, the idea that global warming can be fixed without regulation is the loose. The summit's proposal for voluntary commitments were theater. Skepticism of digital currency needs to be taken seriously. Central banks are plowing ahead with the technology, but the potential for backlash is high. Business testing the limit on prices. Keeping profits intact is a priority for firms, and demand hasn't slowed yet. I don't think companies have the monopoly power to just willy-nilly raise prices. Willy-nilly. Regulators raise alarm on the abuse of QR codes. Scammers have used them to steal data by sending people to harmful websites. Crypto executives scramble to fill power vacuum. San Francisco, as leading industry figures battle their legal problems, others see opportunities. $43,000. Recent Bitcoin price among the highest since the industry crisis. Now hiring. Regulators said scammers often create a sense of urgency over deceptive codes. Want to tax the rich? Watch this Supreme Court case. Wealthy people should not get favorable treatment. It would not be a shock if some justices are tempted to go big and declare Congress powerless under the Constitution to tax the wealthiest Americans. If so, it would not be the first time. We cannot save lives this way. The right to self-defense does not require unleashing this humanitarian nightmare on millions of civilians. Be skeptical of digital currency. uprooted by climate with no easy path to asylum. U.S. law never envisioned millions being displaced by apex of global warming. As the mosquitoes' asylum claim take shape, resolving their cases could take several years, given the years-long backlog. Officials rethink a city's relaxed drug policies. With overdoses rising, Portland seeks to bring back criminal penalties. A potent methamphetamine and fentanyl bring new challenge, separating anti-Zionism from anti-Semitism. Once the academic issue has roiled U.S. discourse and raised bigotry charges. Young Jews joining pro-Palestinian demonstrators see Israel as powerful and violent against Palestinians. Angry New Hampshire Democrats will aid Biden. Mr. Buckley himself plans to stay neutral. New Hampshire Democrats were furious at President Biden when he shook up the party's nominating calendar last year, diminishing their stated political importance by pushing his primary election behind South Carolina. Watch what people do, not what they say. Of crime waves and consumer confidence. Have you heard that there are a huge wave of organized shoplifting, coordinated theft by groups effectively looting stores, sweeping the United States? You probably have. Anti-Chinese laws are on the rise again. Several U.S. states have passed new versions of alien land laws, less popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This case shows abortion ban exemptions are a shame. A Texas woman's predicament exposed the lie behind the anti-abortion groups' claims. The smartest guest at death's table, scrounging for their food, has made the vultures creative and surprisingly antiseptic. I think she's a little smarter than he is, Mr. J said. All vultures are smart, Mr. K said. Life on Earth, a gigantic web of recycling loops. According to the fossil record, geology and evolution have been engaged in a dance for 3.8 billion years, since our planet was only 700 million years old. Israel issues warnings on another front. Strikes by Hezbollah in the north could prompt retaliation, officials warned. A third Iranian-backed militia, the Houthis, had threatened to stab an attack on ships bound for Israel. Strategists look for a new approach in Ukraine. I don't think it's overstating it to highlight how important the U.S. assistance is. Sometimes the best YouTube is less YouTube. a genius or a villain. His boss, Louis, is preparing to join Inter the Miami, and they continue to polarize. The whole of Ghana hates him, and the whole of Africa hates him. Still fighting culture wars. And after the Basel, Miami Beach, Karen revisited one of her earliest artworks. In Florida, a school principal was fired for including Michelangelo's David in a Renaissance art class without proper permission. The divided self. This isn't going to end well. The true story of a man I thought that I knew. Book review. He never, ever hurt a living soul, never could and never did. Behind the words a silent language. John Fawcett, the writer honored with the recent Nobel Prizes, unsaid. In continental Europe, Fawcett has long been a star, mainly for his plays, which have been likened to those of Beckett and Ibsen. It has been like that for 40 years, Fawcett said. A gang of corrupts have a monster of a time. Emma Stone runs amok with Muck and Willem in Days of Old. Guatemala victory is only half the battle. Barrage of legal attacks is aimed at keeping the president-elect from office. We deposited our confidence in Arevalo. Nullifying our voice amounts to an attack on indigenous people. As mayor, an ex-addict tackles a drug crisis. He has tried to humanize the homeless and the people with mental health problems. It's like they are untouchables. Finding ancient wisdom in the Chilean desert. Burned out from life in New York, a photographer traveled to South America to study an indigenous people. A geologist who served as our driver and guide told us that the air here would limpiatus pulmones, clean our lungs. His saloon in Hanoi was a diversity hub. Human pain and suffering colored his life, part of the family history, part of the national history, part of the world he tried to make sense of the herb. People Olympics at the Louvre to raise prices. Increase of 30% to take effect January 15th as museums cost rise. Grim job in glare of celebrity. High-profile cases do come with a different kind of pressure. A vast audience is sure to pour over the autopsy report. Los Angeles County coroner positively no admittance. Strategists look for a new plan in Ukraine. Military leaders hope a shift may revive backing in struggle against Russia. Quiet revolution against big oil. Tiny electric vehicles shift away from fossil fuels faster than cars in many countries. A grim job in the glare of Hollywood publicity. Celebrity deaths intensify demand for answer from the corona to the stars. We cannot save lives in culture like this. The United States must change its course today. We are no strangers to human suffering, to conflict, to natural disasters, to some of the world's largest and gravest catastrophes.